from the agenda right now. I guess I'll just go ahead and, there's something I would like to address, basically because of the city commission meeting that was held on June 6th. I feel that we need to kind of defend ourselves, or myself, because I was personally mentioned in there, or the board president was mentioned, so, and I was unable to attend that meeting because I was out of town. If I would have, I surely would have been there, so. Anyway, just first of all, to be clear, because of the way we had done the choosing the new board members, there really was no precedent before that. We had no procedures in place, no process. So when people are kind of upset about that, I apologize. Because again, we didn't have a procedure. And Danny, I know you, I apologize to you too, because you took a breath of some of that. Okay, so just years ago, a friend of mine said the board was looking for members. I filled out a form and I was invited to a meeting. And then after that, I was invited to become a board member. I served 2 3-year terms. After that first 3-year terms, well, after that first 3-year term, there was nobody who wanted to be a board member, so I was asked to be a board member again. And I think maybe a couple of us up here had the same thing. They couldn't get board members, so we just stayed on to serve more terms. And then as other people finished their terms, we gained a couple more. Brian and Troy came on, and they're on the board today. To hear at that meeting that people felt threatened, that bothered me, and that there was a hostile atmosphere at the meeting, I guess I didn't feel that, and I really apologize. And I did re-listen to the meeting, the city commission, so I was taking notes, and I know that those were issues. It was also said at the library board meeting that day, we had coached some of the answers, and I know that didn't happen. And if, again, with the threatening thing, people feeling threatened, I didn't hear anything about that. Nothing came out about that until that June 6th meeting. And again, I guess just kind of defending that this has not happened before. There's no precedent set here, so we didn't really know how to proceed. But I think going forward, the library probably, or the board would want to come up with some procedures or a policy on how to do that. So I truly enjoyed my time on the board. Thank you for spending it with me. Other than this last year, this unique year, it's been fun, and I'm glad I served. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Okay, roll call. Everybody's here. And John is not. Okay, John is missing. Reading of the minutes. Everybody have a chance to read the minutes if you have any changes or additions. If no changes or additions, if we can get a motion to accept the minutes? Or
motion to accept.
and a second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, approval of expenditures.
They're laughing because Danny, I always ask, is there anything, I know I've been absent for most of the meetings in 2023, and just so if anybody isn't aware of it in the public, I had emailed the board just asking what the schedule was for 2023, because I have a very busy schedule, and I had let them know back, I believe it was January, if not December, that I was not going to be able to make several of the meetings. So they were notified up front. So I don't want anyone to think I was delinquent of my responsibilities. But prior to Danny coming on board, my prerequisite question every time on the expenditures was, is there anything in here that's unusual or outstanding from, that we should particularly look at?
Thanks, April. Yeah, no, there's nothing on here.
just sort of run-of-the-mill expenditures. We're actually pretty far under budget for the year right now, so I think that's kind of good. That'll give people time to decide if we do decide we want to try to go for an expansion or even updates. We can maybe have some extra money to do some of that sooner rather than later.
Is there a particular area that you're noticing that, we're falling under budget, and any like reasons that the board should be aware of? I mean, under is great, of course. However,
Yeah.
I was going to kind of talk about this in my director report, but you guys get your profit and loss report as well. And so that kind of shows you the percentages of where we're at with budget. The full-time employees, we are way under budget, and that is because we are fully staffed for the first time since I started now. So our last employee, Jada Bora, our last librarian, started on June 12th. So that is kind of a big under budget thing.
So missing about 6 months of that person's salary and benefits is part
Yep.
of that? Okay. As far as these expenses, how is the Hoopla program, how is that working where you get like, each patron gets like 8 borrows a month? How's that program kind of billing out? Is that being fully utilized? Do you think that's sufficient, or is that good, or?
I've heard good things through patrons. I guess I haven't really compared it to past numbers yet.
Okay.
And so I'm not exactly sure if it's being more utilized, yes, less utilized. I would say on average, we probably get around like $1,500 a month as far as usage goes for that.
Okay.
So I think that's right. I'll have to double check though.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I just know it was a fairly new program within the past like year and a half, maybe. Yeah, I personally use it a lot. I love it, so I was just curious.
Are there
If
any
people
people that have
understand.
asked for more than 8 a month?
No, not that I know of.
Not yet. I might, Paula.
when she has a little extra time.
Right. So. Well, I'll move to make a motion on the expenditures unless someone else has any questions or concerns.
I would second that.
Okay, if no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is that kind of a part of the financial report then too, or did you have anything more to add to that? No. Okay, we'll move on to the library director's report.
Okay, so kind of as I was saying, we're fully staffed for the first time since I started, so yay. Jada Bora just started as our new marketing and outreach librarian, and she is doing awesome already, so it's been really good. I've actually had time to start job shadowing some of my actual librarians, so I've started doing that, just kind of learning a little bit more about what each individual person does, what each individual department does. I feel like just as a good director, I should probably know that. I'm going to attempt to learn how to drive the bookmobile, and so stay off the roads because of that and my daughter. But no, it should go okay. The library has been really busy this summer. Our circs were up by 800 for May. So that's like, our circs are like checkouts renewals. So that's a pretty big number. We did have our summer reading kickoff in May as well, and we had about 600 people go through the summer reading kickoff. Thanks for volunteering for that, Brian, by the way. That was nice. I've attached the summer reading numbers and our circulation stats so you guys can kind of take a look at that. I haven't had a chance to compare our current summer reading program numbers to last year's yet, but Jade has looked at them and she's pretty happy with them, so I think we're doing good. Kaylee has started as our full-time library assistant, and it's been great having her kind of like her main essential job function is to just kind of man the desk from 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and that's been awesome for the rest of my staff, so we don't have to pull librarians from their more like professional duties, like what they're getting paid more to do, essentially, and have them kind of help man the desk. Like now we just have Kaylee to do it, and so it's been really nice. I feel like it's been working out really efficiently as well. I think like in general, if we get a few more library assistants, I feel like we could really diminish the amount of part-time help that we currently need, which would be really beneficial because as far as like the turnover for part-time help is incredibly high. And so then just interviewing them, training them, doing the 90-day evals on all of them, like that just takes up a lot of time. So I feel like it would just be a lot more efficient if we just had a few full-timers kind of manning the desks. So I let the city commission know that, or what my recommendation was for the 2024 budget, so we'll see what they come back with. I think that was about it. I feel like our programs have been attended really well. We did a pop-up splash pad party at the Legacy Square, and it was like cold and rainy that whole day, and we still probably had Jade estimated about 50 people show up. So I imagine we're planning on doing another one in July, so I imagine if it's a nice hot day, we'll probably get quite a bit. So, but yeah, overall the library's been, I feel like it's been great. So it's been crowded, it's been good.
Regarding the maintenance, we kind of discussed one of the 2 meetings ago. Has any of that made any progress, or has there been recommendations on any of that?
No, I learned that there is actually kind of like a ticket system that I can submit, and so I need to do that. I'll make a note to do that for the next meeting. For the more emergent areas, we did notice on Saturday when I came into work there was like a weird leak off of one of the windows, because Saturday was kind of that rainy day. And so I definitely want that to get looked at. But I know like it's been, I guess, a little bit complicated because Mark used to kind of take care of all of the maintenance, and now it kind of goes through buildings and grounds, and so I feel kind of like the workflow is kind of like been disrupted. So, but yeah, I will definitely do that for the next meeting.
Okay, moving on to unfinished business, library expansion ideas.
This I just kind of put on there just because I know we're going to table it to the next meeting anyway when the new board members come on, but I just kind of put it on there just so we would have kind of a refresher. I figured I would just leave it on there until it gets kind of resolved. So.
Okay, so the new business, Billings County School Contract Approval.
Yeah, so Billings County renewed their contract. You guys can kind of see it is included with the 2022-2023 school year budget, and then I put in how I changed things for 2023-2024. I did not change much because Billings County actually came out this school year under budget. I did increase the professional services by about, I think it was like 4%, just kind of like cost of living type of increases. And then I added an extra 100 onto the bookmobile diesel because gas prices are kind of unpredictable. So, but that was it. The Billings County School Board did vote on it, and they voted to approve it. So they have their signature here. So if you guys vote to approve, then I'll have John sign the contract, and it will go forward for the next school year.
I move to approve the Billings County school contract as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, conference table reservation policy.
So this is, we do not have any study rooms that people can rent out, which kind of stinks, and we get very frequent calls as to if we have study rooms for people to rent out. So there used to be kind of like a policy, like a binder where people could kind of reserve a table downstairs. And so my staff has kind of wanted to bring that back. So I drafted this policy. Basically, there's one conference table that we're thinking of, and the library still has a lot of tables that other patrons could use. It's kind of, I describe it in the policy like the furthest west table, but basically people could reserve that table if they wanted to for non-commercial use. So, I'll let you guys kind of read through.
Just glancing at this, I don't see where, someone would want to reserve it every Monday or something like that. Is that possible for something like that, or?
Yeah, I did put, or well, I guess like they could come in and basically say, because we have a kind of like a binder set up, so they could come in and say, I want it every Monday for like the next 6 months.
Okay.
And so I did put like a 6-month limit on it, just so, yeah.
Could they? I know you said that reservation have a 2-hour per day limit. Can they book multiple reservations in a row? Is that kind of what that meant in there? Because it's kind of gray to me. Like only 2 hours, or is there a possibility of
I
booking
guess
more?
in the writing of it, I intended just only 2 hours. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty adequate for
Okay.
whatever people need to do. And it's not like, I mean, our tables, we almost always have empty tables
So
anyway.
so they could always bump if there's open tables and another reservation.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my thought process, so.
Is there a lot of call for this? I don't want your staff to be overburdened by having to do these reservations all the time. I'm just a little
Would you
concerned.
guys say there's quite a bit of,
We get a lot of inquiry in regards to a meeting space.
Yeah,
It is not cumbersome, especially if
Okay.
we have a policy in place that we can share with them.
okay,
And it's a reservation process that takes
okay.
a minute.
So it's not gonna be onerous, you don't believe on the staff?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, that was my only, you
Mhm.
have enough to do during the day, so unless
And we
there's a
used to
big.
do bookings for the community room and a study room.
Yep.
So that, even that wasn't onerous.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we adopt this draft of the conference study table reservation policy.
Paul made a motion, can somebody second?
I'll second.
No further discussion? Vote? Everybody in favor of accepting this policy?
Aye.
Opposed? Policy.
thanks. Also to kind of fill in with Troy, I was just kind of thinking about this. With the 2-hour time limit, like if no one else had it reserved, I don't think one of us would just go and like kick them out.
Right.
And so it was like,
Sure.
your 2 hours are up, like, yeah. So, I mean, unless someone else
Set
had
the
it
timer
reserved.
at the corner of
Yeah.
the table.
Right.
Right here.
Um,
No, you need to.
It'd be like playing chess. So, will there be a little sign on the table that says, this is reserved, if you'd like this space, please see the circulation desk, or just so there isn't an issue of someone,
Yes,
Using
and
that space.
my thought with that as well was to just put up a sign if it is reserved at a certain point that day.
okay,
So like in
Got
the
it.
mornings, like it's reserved at 2 p.m., we put a sign on the table saying like there's reservation for 2 p.m. here.
okay.
So,
Sure.
yeah, because if it's not,
Then
Reserved
otherwise it's
time.
just free space. and-
yeah, exactly,
Okay,
then
perfect.
everybody can utilize it, so.
Yep, that makes sense.
I don't know how often it's getting booked, but it might be worthwhile to even have the day's schedule at the table, just as a
Absolutely.
blocked out.
Yeah.
People know like, oh, okay, well, there's an hour after us, we can keep going. It's not like they expect people to be showing up.
That's a good idea, yeah.
And there's this farewell to library board members on here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys. for volunteering your time. I really appreciate it. I know my staff really appreciates it. They really enjoyed having you on the board, and I know our time working together has not been super long, but I really appreciate having you guys on the board too. I know it's not easy to volunteer your time, and so I really appreciate that you guys took the time out and actually, went to help your community. I know this last year has not been the easiest to serve on the board, and so I really appreciate that you guys were willing to continue and to devote your time and effort to serve our community. So thank you guys.
I know we had, in the email had mentioned we may need to reschedule for July. Is that something we want to look at now, or just,
I was thinking because of the new library board members, we were gonna have to try to coordinate a time that will work with them. So what I might do is just email out a couple of times that might work out well, and then we'll see if we can find common ground there. So
absolutely, and that has to be posted and decided upon how far in advance prior to the meeting?
a week,
Okay.
I'm fairly certain, so,
All right.
but I will look check it too.
Absolutely.
Nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, because
Yeah, you're good. 4:21.
thanks guys.